Hello friends, today we're going to discuss whether engaging in criminal activity or being convicted of certain crimes may interfere with your ability to have parental responsibility over your children. Welcome back to the Divorce Broadcast. My name is Manny Segarra, coming to you from Miami, Florida. So what is parental responsibility? Well, in Florida, it is the public policy of the state to encourage both parents to share in the joys, the rights, and the responsibilities of child rearing. This means making parenting decisions relating to the children, which include school placement and educational pursuits, medical decisions regarding immunization, vaccinations, physicals, and other appointments. It could include religious indoctrination. It could also include the forms of discipline whenever there's an issue with the child, as well as the selection of extracurricular activities, daycare, and things of that nature. If it is shared parental responsibility, both parents have equal say in these decisions. They must confer and make the decision jointly. However, if one of the parents is convicted or accused of a crime, this may affect their ability to have shared parental responsibility. So let's get started with some of the particular crimes that may affect the parent having shared parental responsibility. When it comes to certain crimes, perhaps a court would not consider that as much against the parent. For instance, if it is a misdemeanor crime, which may include trespass, loitering, shoplifting, perhaps arrest at a peaceful protest, a fishing fine, a traffic ticket for speeding, not stopping at a stop sign. Those non-violent misdemeanor crimes, if a person is arrested for or convicted of that type of crime, perhaps a court may not consider that as much. However, as you move into a different area of crimes, the court definitely will consider these crimes when determining shared parental responsibility. The first group of that would be crimes involving DUI, driving under the influence of either alcohol or a substance. In addition to that, some of the drug offenses, whether they be the use of drugs or substances or the overuse without a valid license, that obviously would be bad. But the selling or trafficking of drugs is even more bad. The courts do not look kindly upon having children exposed to that type of behavior. Speaking of bad, if you look at Florida Statute 61.13, it indicates that the court shall order parental responsibility for a minor child be shared by both parents unless the court finds that shared parental responsibility would be detrimental to the child. The following evidence, and I'll interject the words of following situations, create a rebuttable presumption of detriment to the child. So we're going to get into the group of cases that will definitely limit or hinder your ability to have shared parental responsibility over your child or children. And that first group would be crimes of domestic violence. And there's a group of them that are named in the Florida statute, which include assault, aggravated assault, battery, aggravated battery, sexual battery, stalking, aggravated stalking, kidnapping, false imprisonment, and any crime resulting in the physical injury or death of a family member by another family member. Those are all bad crimes that a court will consider. What's interesting is that the next group of situations or cases would be the cases in which the parent's rights have been terminated due to the following: either abandonment of the child or children, situations in which the continued involvement of that parent either threatens the life, safety, and well-being of the child, if that parent has been incarcerated, and finally, if the child has been adjudicated dependent by the state. Those are all situations where if the parent is involved in that, their ability to have shared parental responsibility may be limited. Finally, the last group of crimes are also very egregious, and they involve crimes in which the victim of the crime the parent engaged in was to be under the age of 18. And this includes some of the really bad crimes, including, if that parent is a registered sexual offender, if there was sexual misconduct, kidnapping or false imprisonment, any type of human trafficking, sexual battery, unlawful activity with a minor, lewd and lascivious offenses, video voyeurism, and child pornography. If a parent is involved in that type of criminal activity, as you can see by the nature of those cases, it is highly likely that a court will consider those crimes and possibly limit that parent from having shared parental responsibility. What's also interesting about Florida Statute 61.13 is there seems to be a catch-all provision. In that statute, it says whether or not there is a conviction of any offense of domestic violence or child abuse, or the existence of an injunction, what some people call a restraining order, the court shall, which means that the court must consider as evidence of detriment to the child. So when it comes to domestic violence and child abuse, a conviction may not be the only time that a court would consider limiting shared parental responsibility. As you can see, these are some complicated issues. In sum, what we were discussing is whether or not engaging in criminal activity or convictions of certain crimes will interfere or prevent you from having parental responsibility over your children. There are some crimes where it may not, like your non-violent misdemeanor offenses like trespass or loitering, shoplifting. There are some crimes that the court may consider, like your DUI, substance abuse, or selling or trafficking illegal drugs. And finally, there are cases that the court will definitely consider. They include crimes of domestic violence, cases in which the children have been adjudicated dependent, or crimes against children or people under the age of 18. As I always say, each case is different, each jurisdiction is different. The enumerated offenses for criminal activity as they relate to parental responsibility may be different. So please check the statutes of your particular jurisdiction. If you know anybody who's dealing with these criminal issues in their divorce case, have them give us a call. They can look us up at www.segarralawfirm.com. We have offices in Miami and Orlando. Se habla español. Please like this video, subscribe to the Divorce Broadcast, and feel free to share with family and friends who may benefit from learning about this topic. Thank you.